12.2, permutations. All right, we do permutations when we want to arrange in order, meaning order matters. ABC is different than BAC. Order matters. It doesn't matter how many things you have, but the way I place them is important. Like first place is important, second place is important, third place is important. The order matters that you finish the race to get the trophy or accolades. So when we're using all of our objects, and when we say objects, we're going to call them n. What we do is we say it was n factorial. I know in English class you think that's an exclamation. Well, in math class it is too. It's like, woohoo, n! It's like an excitement. Factorial, n! But that factorial, what it means in true mathematics is that we're going to multiply all numbers from n to 1 together. So if I had 5 factorial, that would be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 120. All right. Something key that you need to know, 0 factorial is 1. We can do factorials on our calculator. I'm going to show you how that works. All right. Under math, you see this option, PRB. That stands for probability. That's the chapter that we're in. All right, but first of all, we got to tell what we want to do. So we're going to say 5, math, probability, and then option 4. See that exclamation point? That's the factorial. So we're going to say 4 or arrow down to it. 5 factorial. Hit enter. There you go. All right, so we get to use our calculator to help us out with this. Now, if we're only going to use partial objects, so we have n, that's how many we have, and we're going to use r, that's what we want. R is what we want, n is what we have. We have a formula, the permutation formula. And the permutation formula is NPR. So what we have versus what we want. It is n factorial over n minus r factorial. All right. I have 5 people, and I want to arrange 3 of them. So that would be 5 factorial over 5 minus 3 factorial, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 minus 3 is 2, so that'd be 2, 1. Those reduce out, so it's just 5 times 4 times 3, which is 60. There are 60 ways I can arrange 3 people out of 5. Now, just like before, our calculator can help us with this. However, you need to know this formula, you need to know how it works and how it applies. Because when it comes to standardized testings, you do not get to use your calculator. You need to know that this formula represents permutation and what all of this means so that you can do it by hand. However, for this class, you're going to get to use a calculator, but on standardized tests, you're not going to be able to. So make sure you know the formula and how it works. Okay, so let me show you how the calculator is going to work for you. If we have 5p3, we need to tell the calculator 5. Then we're going to tell it permutation. So math, probability, and option 2, permutation. And then 3. So we have 5 things we want to permutate or put in order, 3 of them. hit enter, and there we go. So what we do by hand, we can do with a calculator and vice versa, and you need to be able to do that. All right. Sometimes our things repeat. And when we have repeated objects, it's a little bit different. Most common, you see this in words. For example, Mississippi. All right, let me give you the formula. The formula, if I have repeats, it is n factorial, so the number of items you have, because n is always how many things you have, over each repeated item factorial. So what does that look like? Well, up here, how many letters of Mississippi are there? That's what n stands for. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. What is the first item that's repeated? Well, the I's are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd put that over 4 factorial. Then I look, is there a second item repeated? Well, S. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go, is there a third item repeated? The P's. And there's 2 of them. So what these N stand for down here are the repeated items and how many times. So I repeated 4 times, S repeated 4 times, P repeated 2 times. If there was more of them, I would keep going. If there was less of them, I wouldn't have them. All right, so this is everything, and these are the repeated items. And then, again, you can use your calculator. You're welcome to do it by hand. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knowing this is 4, 3, 2, 1 times 4, 3, 2, 1 times 2, 1. By hand, I get to reduce 4, 3, 2, 1 out. Let's see. I could reduce 3, 2, 1 and get 6 out. And 4 and 2, 1 would take 8 out, leaving 11, 10, 9, 7, and 5, which is 3, 4, 6, 50. Or we could use the calculator and say 11 factorial is divided by, use parentheses, all of these things, 4 factorial, 4 factorial, 2 factorial. And we get the same answer. I would personally use a calculator. But you're welcome to do it by hand. And if you don't have a calculator on Quest Day, then you'll have to do it by hand. But what's most important is that you understand how the formulas work. So that's going to be permutations. Make sure you know how to use your calculator. If I tell you N is 5 and R is 3, you're going to have to set it up 5P3, and then you can use your calculator to come up with the answer. Or I could just give you the factorial setup, or I might give it to you in words or in Mississippi. You have to find out how many permutations there are. But you'll be doing permutations, NPR, repeats, setups, and R using your calculator.